it's Roseline and you're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 6 episode 4, Weekend at Bobby's. If you're new here, I do a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. I forgot this episode was coming up, and then the episode started and I saw the episode title and I was like, yes, like I love this episode, happy for this episode, great. Probably will end up on like the top 5 list of the season because the season doesn't have that many good episodes, but you know, like this episode isn't like the greatest episode. I think it's like just a good, well-rounded episode, I guess. If you didn't know, Jensen Ackles directed this episode, and it was the first episode of Supernatural he ever directed, and I guess first episode or movie he ever directed, I suppose. And he goes on and he directs a few more episodes of Supernatural. I'm kind of forgetting which episodes and how many. I'm sorry, Jensen. I don't know all the facts, but this episode was his first episode he directed. And I think it was a good episode to direct. I think mainly because he's not in it that much. And I think that's a little bit easier when you're not. I think that's in it. I think it's a struggle for actors, especially when you're in it. But I think it's like a challenge, and I always don't understand how actors can direct and act at the same time. Like I just don't know how it's possible, but it is somehow. But I don't know how they went about like him directing this episode. I don't know if he chose it, or they're like, here you get to choose, or this is the episode you're gonna do. Like I don't know, but you know, we're 6 seasons in, and clearly like they can have more agency. You know, we're not in the last couple seasons where I think it was only last season where they were actually listed as producers, but you know, over the seasons they get more agency and are able to do more. Did Jared ever direct an episode? I don't think he did, right? So it's kind of good. I guess we see Bobby's life, right? We see Bobby's life, and it's something where, you know, at this time he's like the 3rd meanest character. Like we're not there yet with Cass, and it's something, you know, we get this like insight of Bobby's life, and I think it's just like entertaining to see like how, you know, we get to see his perspective. So we kind of see from his perspective how the boys kind of use him and abuse him, you know? They just call and they're like, do this thing for me. And then there's this whole thing with his soul, and Carly was in this episode too, where, you know, Bobby still like doesn't have his soul back. So he is trying to figure that out in this episode while he's doing all these other things. And, you know, Rufus is like, help me bury a body. And so he, you know, everyone, you know, he has all those phones and everyone calls him, and he was talking about Garth at one point, and Garth is the character we see in the future. And so I bet you, like, you know, they just picked a name, they were just doing something random, but in the future when we see Garth, they were like, they, you know, obviously some writer remembered the name or something. When did we see Garth for the first time? Is it season 7, season 8? Maybe it's season 6. Maybe it is this season. I don't remember. He's only in like a few episodes. Like it's not too much. Also, I think he becomes a werewolf at one point. It's like a fun episode, and obviously it didn't like, you know, take that particular like hunt episode, but that's because we're like doing a different perspective. And we really like, I'm trying to think, the only other times we have like a different perspective episode is like Baby, which is also a really great episode, which it comes from the perspective of Carb. We still follow the boys, but this is like a perspective of someone else. Like, do we have an episode that's centered around Kaz? I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I feel like there's moments where it's like we focus more on Cass on the episode, but I feel like we still see a lot of the boys. Like clearly this was the focus on Bobby. I think it's just really smart for the writers to do that, like to just have this episode. Like they didn't need to have this episode, and it clearly wasn't focused on monsters, and it was kind of focused on Bobby, and they, you know, had this open-ended thing, and maybe, you know, they've been wanting to do an episode just on Bobby for a while or something, but it was kind of great to see from his perspective. And it's something where like this could have gone wrong, or like, you know, if they decided to do Cass or something, like I felt like it would have been too early for Cass to get that perspective. So I think it was right, and it just, you know, even though it doesn't follow like the typical hunt and follow the brothers and like this exact structure, like it's a smart move for the writers to do, and like this is a good episode, and it's nothing for me to critique. Like, you know, as I said, it's not the greatest episode, but it's standard good, and it's enjoyable, and it's fun, and a great watch. So I'm gonna end it here because I really don't have anything else to say, so it'll be a quick video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed Weekend at Bobby's too. And I also like the title, like clearly we spent a weekend at Bobby's, even though it's only a 45-minute episode. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye.